have some really exciting news today. I'm moving into my new salon space, a continuing education program that I've started for cosmetology students to have a place to work when they get out of school, to be certified in micro extensions. And I'm so grateful to be able to speak with these students at these schools, at these beauty schools, and just looking at them like, wow, 6 years ago I was in the same seat as y'all. In the year 2020, my life has turned a whole new page, a whole new chapter, a whole new volume, and your girl couldn't be happier. It's my only dream when I graduated from cosmetology school. It wasn't to be behind the chair, it was more so to improve and impact lives. And honestly, I was thinking from a behind the chair standpoint, like I'm gonna improve and impact the lives of my clients. Whomever sits in my chair, life is gonna be transformed, improved. I'm gonna impact them in some type of way. And guys, this is my second salon space that I'm moving into, and it's really a blessing because it's bigger and it's better than the last. And the last one that I had to let go of was very traumatic in a way because I was really discouraged letting that go. I was really nervous upon entering it, and like this just feels like a different type of ride, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like as stylists we move around so much, and to find a good home is rare. You always find yourself packing up and leaving. You always find yourself in a rut and in a worry about where you're gonna take your clients next, and can you, because before I left my parents' house I was actually doing hair at home in my basement with our shampoo bowl hooked up. I had like a studio space in my parents' basement that they kind of sort of built for me. And then once that went to shambles, I didn't have anywhere to take my clients. Wasn't making any money, and I had to figure out things all over again. Let me just tell y'all, a year ago, I was practically homeless. And the salon space that I rented out was super expensive. My clientele wasn't that great, and I was really riding on faith. I had it for about 2 months, and it was pretty hectic. I ended up sleeping out of my suite space. I just had a blow-up mattress, and there was a gym across the street. It was literally everything I needed, but just the simple fact that I didn't have a home was really just like, it made me feel worse than the situation actually was. Because if anybody had known, like my clients or someone knew that I was sleeping out of it, I really would have felt bad. I would have been like beating myself up. But there was a washer and dryer in our unit. There was also a kitchen in there. There was a grocery store. Like I literally had everything I needed and a peace of mind. So it's funny the things we have to give up or sacrifice in order to just have a peace of mind. Because as much as I didn't want to give it up, thinking like, what are people gonna think? Not even where I'm gonna live. I was thinking about, what are people gonna think when they see that my business has failed? What are they gonna think when they see that I am no longer in this suite? They can no longer book an appointment. I felt like I wasn't shit. I'm not gonna lie. So I moved out of that suite in like July. For the duration of having the suite, it was like the most liberating feeling ever. I felt like a boss. I felt like I got this. I felt like God wouldn't put this on me if I couldn't handle it. And little did I know, he was just making room for something better. Little did I know that he was like really going to give me something bigger and better, exceeding my expectations of anything I could ever imagine. Today is the day that I am moving into my salon, and I ain't leaving it. It's permanent, and I can't believe it. I ended up living with this family friend for about 4 months, I want to say, and she demanded that I pay her to stay there. And granted, it was like $25 a week, but $25 a week is a lot when you need product, when you have to commute to work, whether it's bus, train, or Uber, and you know, eating and things like that. It was kind of like just taking out of the goal and the vision that I needed. So I left her house and I got the salon space. I signed off on the lease. He gave me a lot of hell for leaving. She said, you don't have anywhere to go. If you can't afford this, then what makes you think you can afford to live anywhere else? That suite was $375 a week. Told her that I would be getting this salon suite and that I would be leaving her house. She hit me with the, you should have thought about that before you signed that lease. Like, I'ma just leave that to God, you know. I don't address everything. I just leave stuff in God's hands and I keep it moving because I don't need the stress. I don't need the constant frustration. I just don't. He was very sweet for letting me stay at her house after leaving my parents' house. But eventually I had to start paying her to stay there, and it was either sacrificing the place that I live or sacrificing my business. I just put all of my faith in God, and He showed up and He showed out, and I don't regret any of it because I didn't have a home. I didn't have like anywhere or anybody that I could depend on. So I was freelancing at that time, as well as taking clients in the suite. That was like giving me the momentum to keep the salon space. It was either pay the rent or really be homeless, like absolutely nowhere to go. So at that point, I was kind of just like, I can't afford to stay here. It's been 3 months, you know, like I'm proud of myself for even making it this far, but I have to let it go. I moved out of the suite in July. Come to find out, I ended up going to Zimbabwe in August. I didn't want to leave anything behind, but at the same time I was ready to leave everything behind. And upon going there, I'm like, I'm not coming back, because if I come back, I'm not gonna have nowhere to live. If I come back, I'm not gonna have this, I'm not gonna have that, I'm not gonna know where it is, I'm not gonna know about that. God literally orders my footsteps, and I'm so grateful. My perspective had changed so drastically. I went from being homeless to seeing people in Zimbabwe be more than homeless, and it was just like, what am I complaining about? Why was I in fear of anything? And once I left my parents' house, I kind of got like in this rut of what am I gonna do? I was in moments of despair and just neglect. I was feeling very just unlucky, unhappy, and just unwanted. Leaving my parents' house last year, I didn't just leave. I was pushed out. I was shoved out. I was ejected. I was denied. I was in such a horrible place, but it's not something that I can't say I didn't ask for. I wanted to be ejected out because I didn't know how to do it on my own, and now I'm in a different space, and I just wanted to share with you guys because it's possible and you guys can make a difference. I felt like I was dimming my light staying there, and just because it was comfortable for me to bring clients in there, I was just making it work. But at the same time, it's like my light needed to shine brighter. I was supposed to do something bolder, like telling myself this, but I didn't know where to move. I didn't know how to put one foot in front of the other, but I would just imagine myself being places and seeing things and doing things, experiencing new things, and I was speaking low on myself because that was the environment I was in. They killed my potential. They didn't care about my future. And it seemed like no matter how hard I strived to go forward, that they just didn't care. Like, I think what God wants to do with my life is greater than behind the chair. And I love it, but I think it's greater than just this. And the more I started to want to figure out that purpose, the more and more He started birthing me with ideas and visions and prophecies and things like that. And I just kept figuring out who this God was. And now I can finally say that the blueprint that I've been writing for the past 6 years of graduating from hair school had never been about money. It was always about impacting someone else's life. It was always about a legacy to leave behind and a collectiveness. And I've had always been comparing myself to people with a massive clientele. Like, why is my clientele not growing? And it's because, like, if I had that, I wouldn't have the time to dedicate to God for him to even show me what he needed to show me. And I'm just grateful that I'm able to admit that. So in my next video, I'm gonna show you guys the space that I'm renting out, and I can't wait to show y'all. And it's actually in the suburbs. Like, I'm not in the city anymore because I live in the suburbs. Now that I found a space in the suburbs that's not too far from the house I'm in now, I am super grateful. There's so much in store and I can't wait to show y'all. So make sure you like this video and you subscribe, and see where this micro link expansion is taking over next.